want to talk about setting up a budget, or budget in particular for a commercial property. And just before we start, I want to say, the importance of setting up a budget. Obviously, if you're operating or managing a shopping center with landscaping and all other sorts of expenses that are related to common areas or management of the common areas, it's really important to have a budget set up. Now, part of the importance is, yes, you want to know how much you should allocate for expenses, but also the other part of the importance of setting up a budget is to know how much you should be billing each tenant within the shopping center. Because typically the way it works is the landlord's bills on a monthly basis, apart from rent, common area charges, insurance, and taxes, based on a particular budget. And that budget is set up at the beginning of the year, right? So if you don't have a budget, you don't know how much to bill your tenants, right? So that could be a problem. Now, it's really, really important to make sure you have a solid and well planned out and thought out budget, and you also bill your tenants accordingly in accordance with their lease. So today what I want to do is I want to go through an example of, again, a mock or typical shopping center and what a budget would look like, for that particular shopping center. And what we'll do is we'll show you how to do that in UnitConnect, what it would look like setting up a budget and dispersing common charges, taxes, insurance based on the budget that you put together. All right, so here again we have our mock shopping center that we've hypothetically put together. So we have a shopping center with 3 tenants: a coffee shop, pizza store, and an urgent care. Again, this is their sizes, and then based on the sizes, this is their pro-rata share.
Okay.
22%, 25%, and 52%. On the left-hand side here, we have a budget broken up into 3 major categories. Again, it's, if you're managing commercial properties or shopping centers, this should be really familiar to you. So CAM is common area maintenance items, taxes is the real estate tax items, and then insurance is the insurance for the shopping center. So again, they're broken up into 3 different categories. Majority of the leases for commercial tenants are broken up in the same way as well, where they talk about the tenant's responsibility as it relates to CAM, taxes, and insurance. Again, 3 separate main categories. So again, we do this at the beginning of the year typically, and we estimate how much we're going to spend on each particular line item, right? Landscaping, snow removal, parking lot repairs, lights, sweeping, trash removal, management. So that's all part of CAM. Taxes are the real estate taxes, and insurance is the insurance. Again, the total of all of this is $52,500. If we look at the totals per category, we have CAM 17,500, taxes 25,000, and insurance 10,000. Now, if we look over on this side, right, and obviously each line represents the tenant. And again, this is a hypothetical scenario where we have each tenant here responsible for their pro-rata share of CAM, right? So this shows what their responsibility is, pro-rata share. And amount due is basically their pro-rata share multiplied by the total CAM. So the coffee shop's responsibility for CAM is $4,010, and so on, right, for all the other tenants. And this is the tax responsibility for the tenants, and I did go ahead and add a different tax responsibility. So there are pro-rata share responsibilities for some tenants. So again, pro-rata share is simple. It's multiplying the pro-rata share by the total of the real estate taxes. So in this case, for the pizza store, it's $6,250. For the urgent care, it's $13,020. For the coffee shop, again, hypothetically speaking, they are responsible for the base year increases over $10,000. What that means is anything above $10,000 in real estate taxes, they're only responsible for the delta. multiplied by their pro-rata share. So if we do that calculation, their responsibility is 3,437. That totals up to 22,708.
And quick question, Albert, in this hypothetical scenario, why, since you have the 3 tenants, is it common where one tenant would have a difference with the base year increases versus the other tenants having the taxes are based on pro rata share? Is that common, or generally within the same property for taxes, would all of the tenants, all be based on base year increase or all be based on pro rata share?
It's difficult to say, but there's no, as we said before, there's no rule of thumb. There's no sort of law. There's no regulation, right? It's all based on negotiations.
Okay.
So if the landlord, in an example, decided to give someone a higher rent, right? And again, in the process of negotiations, the tenant might come back and say, you know what, if I'm paying this much rent, then I shouldn't be paying for taxes. I'll only agree to pay the increases or the base year increases in taxes. So again, it's all based on how the leases are negotiated, and then there's different varieties, different variations of how it may be negotiated. And again, this is one of the simple cases, right? Again, there's caps, there's limits on CAM, and we spoke about that in the CAM reconciliation video as well. Again, it's not typical to have caps on taxes, but it is typical to have caps on CAM. Anyway, so to answer your question, it all depends on the negotiation, right?
Okay. So the coffee shop has a base year increase in this example for taxes.
That's correct. And again, this is just to highlight the difference in, in the flexibility of our system and in what we can achieve.
Sure. Okay.
Right. In insurance, right? Same scenario or similar scenario. We have pro rata share for 2 tenants, and this particular tenant, no insurance, right? Again, based on how the lease is negotiated, the tenant can say, you know what, I'm not paying for insurance, right? So if we add all this up, right, I mean, this is what we're billing the tenants based on the budget. So we're, the landlord here is collecting 47,708, but he may be, he may spend 52,500. So there's a little bit of a gap, but again, that's a known gap that going into this, into billing the tenants, that's a known sort of gap that the landlord would be aware of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to highlighting how this particular use case would be used, would be applied in UnitConnect.
Okay.
Right. Again, this was a hypothetical scenario. Let me hop over to UnitConnect. I'm going to go on to one of our real life properties here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a budget for one of our shopping centers. Right. In this case, there are 4 tenants. And I'm going to hop over to property budget. So I'll create a budget. Okay, so we're going to create a new budget for 2023. We'll create new budget by selection. And let's just populate the amounts here. All right, so for insurance, we had $10,000. Landscaping, we have 2,500. Management, $4,000. Repairs, $1,500. Snow removal, $3,000. Sweeping, $2,000. Taxes, $25,000. Trash removal, 0. And electricity, $1,750. Save $52,500. Right. So if we want to, again, just automatically allocate these by month in an equal number, we could just click autofill total. I meant autofill monthly. That populates the monthly amount, and we'll just save the budget. Just refresh the screen for 2023. And that's our budget by month. Again, we can adjust any number we want here, or we could just leave it alone. Now we're going to hop over to tenant charges. And if we look at the screen, this particular screen shows us what the tenant's obligations should be for each category: tax, CAM, and insurance. Now, if we're going to do autofill charges, what it does is this first column shows what the tenant's obligation should be, and this is what we should be billing them. Now, essentially, these two numbers should be the same. If we want to change it to a higher amount, if you want to build a tenant slightly higher, so that your reconciliation, during a reconciliation, if you do spend more on expenses, this way you have a little bit of a cushion and collect a little more from your tenant. Again, you have the flexibility to do so, and you could build a tenant either on a monthly or on an annual basis. Let's just make sure that everyone is billed monthly.
If you decide to bill on a yearly basis, what months are they billed?
Typically, it's based on their rent commencement. So if
Okay.
their rent commences in whatever month, July or September, that's the date that's set. But you can change that on the rent details page.
Okay.
All right. So again, let me just go through this again. Right. So this amount is based on the budget, and this is what we're actually going to bill them. So again, these two numbers typically should be the same. If you decide to change them, you can change them, but let's leave them the same and then save. All right, so what we're going to do is if we go on to this particular tenant, Darlene's Angel, so the learning experience, right? If we look at, just going to open their rent details page. All right, so you see this particular tenant is responsible, pro-rata has responsibility for tax, CAM, and insurance. And again, their responsibility is all pro-rata share, and their share is 60.47%. So if we look at taxes on the monthly basis, their responsibility is 1,259.79, right? So if we look at 1,259.79 times 12, 15,117 per year. Go back to the screen. So that's the amount that we're going to be billing them on a monthly basis. Same for CAM, right? So if we look at 10,582.25 divided by 12, their monthly common charges would be 881.85 cents, right? So that's what we're billing them on a monthly basis, 881.85 cents. And the same thing for insurance. So basically what we did is, right, we set up, or we created their monthly charges based on the budget.
Yep.
Right, and that's how easy it is to basically replicate what we've done in our mock example, right? Is we took a budget for a particular year, and then based on that budget, and also based on the settings that we have for each particular tenant, right? Their product share, their tax responsibility, CAM responsibility, insurance, we basically set up their monthly charges. So if we take this, for example, and say their base year increase, let's change this to base year increase of $10,000. Let's rerun this, refresh this screen. Let's look at tenant charges for 2023. right? See, this number changed to $9,000 from $15,000. So essentially, we should be billing them $9,000, and if we change this to 9,000 and just click save, right, their monthly number will change once we refresh the screen.
Okay.
To $755.87. So it's very important to have these settings correct and your budget correct to be able to correctly set the monthly charges for the tenants for CAM, tax, and insurance.
Okay, excellent.
And that's all.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for covering that, and we'll see you in the next video.
Cool. Thanks, Nathan.